Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Angie Barbosa and Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. What's going on, beautiful folks, traders, friends, family from around the world? I have missed you all dearly and severely. It has felt like 3 weeks have gone by, but apparently it's only a few days. It's Tuesday, so I'm back. Yep, flew in, woke up. Angie took me to the airport. What time was that? 4 in the morning. And yeah, so just an all day of flying. Didn't get a chance to do any day trading today. Got a chance to look at the markets. Few trades triggered, few trades looking good, few trades down, few trades up. We're going to look at a lot of things today, but I'm absolutely pumped, privileged, and honored to be here today for Tech Giant Tuesday. Always an exciting day in the markets. Let me make sure I got my recording on. Beautiful. Can you guys see my video? I'm not going to leave it on the whole time. I just want to know if you can. If you can, no big deal, but I'll be turning it off in just a moment anyway. Let's see. Got that. Okay, good. Fantastic. All right, I think we're all set. Let me pull this up right here. Where did that pesky thing go? There it is. All right, so we're going to look at the broader markets today. So the broader markets, we have the SPY. Not a lot happening. So I'm going to kind of minimize this right now. Perfect. So I mentioned back on the 3rd, which was 2/3/2017. I do expect this this gap to fill or retest. So we've been working on that really the last 2 days is this gap filling. So again, white candle gapping up. Oops, wrong type of drawing. White candle gapping up. And really there's a lot of similarities between this move and this move. Kind of weird how many similarities there are, in fact. So what's going to happen tomorrow? You know, I don't really know, but I'm still going off the off of this guy, expecting that we're going to probably pull back down a little bit more, maybe even all the way into the 50 and then bounce. But I will say this, whenever we get into the 50, I'll be looking to buy there on the SPY, either some calls, shares, put sales, bull put spreads, something. Now, what if tomorrow is really bullish, right? Let's check out the flip side. So the flip side would be if SPY opens right here. So if we gap up tomorrow above the all-time high, then yeah, we're going to just start screaming bullish. Now, is that going to happen? You know, of course, I don't know. Wednesday, what's tomorrow? Wednesday. So Brad's going to be doing the floor for about 2 hours on Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning, and then I'm going to be covering for him a little bit earlier tomorrow. And then Latoya will be doing it Thursday morning, and I got the 12 to 2 as usual, and then Friday I'll be here all day. Next Monday is Mentorship Monday, and then Tuesday, just kind of keep rocking and all. So anyway, we'll kind of figure out what exactly happens, but it'll be very, very interesting. Lad says maybe we'll get a second on reversal. Wouldn't that be fun? Man, honestly, if we get a big gap down, that would be really, really interesting. I'd be pretty bearish, honestly, if we get a big gap down tomorrow. Pretty bearish down to the 50. Again, not expecting the world to end, not expecting the market to crash. I would fully expect a little bit of a pullback to the 50 and then probably bounce. But it'll be very interesting to find out what happens. So that's the SPY. The Dow today didn't really do all that much. We did make a new all-time high. And I'm sure that a lot of people hopped on to take the break out of that. So here's the breakout today. People are starting to pile on, buying the bullish breakout on the Dow, new all-time high, at least on the DIA, a new all-time high, 201.30. Few traders in some bull put spreads down here on the Dow. Again, at this resistance level, if you're not in a bull put spread now, I would wait, only because, well, you're out of resistance. So now you want the stock to pull down again and then bounce, or again, just continue to show some strength overall. But right now, things are just doing status quo. What was interesting is the Qs made a new all-time high today. The Qs did break out of a pennant pattern. So here's the resistance, here's the higher lows, and again, new all-time highs on the Qs, which is phenomenal. Likely we'll get a little bit of a retest later, but this is amazing. I mean, this is a very, very bullish market right now, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked by any means, but it does look and feel a lot like the strong bullish move that we got back in June, July to September of 2016. Then we got that pullback and then that consolidation. So at some point, yes, it will happen. I'm not trying to pick the top right now, but if we get a gap or something indicating a strong move, then that'll be more apparent at the time. IWM, hanging out. So again, if you really want to kind of expect this move or what's likely going to happen next, just go back and look at the last time you got a really strong bullish move, which on the IWM was really right about here. And then you'll just notice we did more or less just kind of trade sideways and chop around, big dip, and then a very good buying opportunity. So we'll probably do that again, right? This is likely the time we'll do something like this, and then we probably bounce around something like that maybe in March, potentially. Again, I think we're all ready and prepared for that. We're not loading up on anything, just a lot of non-directional stuff going on. So James has himself an iron condor, which I do believe expires this Friday. But it might also be next Friday. Either way, it still looks good. And some traders also in some other bull put spreads on the IWM. Here's your long-term moving averages, and the 100 simple is now at 129.21. So again, some really strong support on there. So that's pretty much it. Bullish to neutral on the short-term level, neutral on the intermediate level, and then bullish on the primary trend. So it's just interesting to see exactly what's playing out. Looking for some pullbacks, hopefully, so that we get bearish on a short-term time frame, still neutral on the intermediate, still bullish on the long-term time frame, and that'll be the great buying opportunity. So that's kind of the broader markets. Before I start looking at individual stocks and individual trades, any questions, concerns, thoughts, or oppositional viewpoints that anybody wants to bring up? While we're doing that, I'll slide Slack over here. I'll slide our trading journal over here. Wonderful. Got that. All right, great. Well, looks like we're all caught up. Again, if you have any questions at any point in time, you can just write them in. It doesn't have to be right now. So if you're like, oh snap, I forgot, it's a great question, just throw it in the chat pane at any time. I'm here to help you fine folks trade the markets. So I'm happy to help in any possible way that I can. So we'll be looking at some other trades here momentarily. So today is Tuesday. Let's go look at some tech stocks. We're going to start with Apple and Amazon. Here is Amazon, this wild beast, and Amazon. So I think, give me a second. Troy, I believe, is in a bear call spread on Amazon. Let me just make sure that's the case. Give me a second. Where is this one? Okay. What was I about to do? Troy. Sorry, I was going through my text messages. Troy, looking for 8:35, 8:30 this Friday. Okay. So Brian Bodie, his bear call spreads expired worthless. So now we got Troy B in an 8:35, 8:30 bear call spread expiring this Friday. Wonderful. And this intraday trigger, so here's an hourly chart on this. And so for some of my day traders, very interesting if you got a chance to check this one out. So this is one that I talked about after the day that it gapped. And I'm still going to be watching for this to potentially trade lower on Amazon. And obviously, you could obviously trade higher as well. But really, this was just a kind of a quick day trading trigger for it to break down to this support. And this support was kind of the swing trading trigger. Didn't make that official because I knew that was going to be a very quick trade. But there were 3 traders who did get a quick profit Monday on Amazon as it kind of broke down that little support there in the first hour of the day. Just a really quick move. So from here, I'm going to leave this swing trade trigger in with a break below 802.55. And we have a really nice new white soldier today as well. So as bullish as Amazon is, I would say if we get a close on Amazon above here, which is 818.71, then Troy, you could probably also get into a bull put spread since the trend is still kind of bullish, and then we can look for some bullish trades as well. So a potential bracket trade on Amazon where we can just do this. End of day. Troy's in a bear call spread. Niels, your put sale is looking great on Amazon. Let me give him some love. Niels, your Amazon naked put is looking fresh. bearish. So I don't think you should have any problem with that one, Niels. So yeah, honestly, the guy's going to kind of look to bracket trade Amazon. It's a very strong bullish move. You did trade to an all-time high, quite a bearish gap on Friday, as a lot of you know. And from here, just kind of looking to see if we can bracket trade this. But keep an eye out. The hourly chart, I think, will be telling on Amazon. If you see that a lot of bears start to get trapped, realistically tomorrow, I mean, look at this little pattern right here. So if we start really breaking out of this pattern, we can easily trade up to here on Amazon. So don't be afraid to trade it bullish, I guess is what I'm really trying to say. Either direction would work, in my opinion. You know, so if we gap down strong tomorrow and trap some of those short-term bulls, then Amazon will probably start rolling a little bit. All right, so that's Amazon. Here's Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. And Apple, we got 5 white candles in a row. A lot of traders still enjoying the bullish move. A lot of traders still in the March calls, and we're getting to the point where it's getting uncomfortable to hold. At least it is for me. 7-1 if you're getting uncomfortable a little bit. It's like, it's getting to the point where like, I want to do something. So I think I'll just push yourself a little bit at this point. Try to get that temporary or mental muscular failure for your trade. But 132.86 is kind of my target on Apple at this particular point in time. Right now, those options worth almost $12. So it'll probably be about $12.25, $12.50 if that actual target hits. Now, it is a retest gap. The Qs did get to an all-time high. I only have a week and a half left on this. I said it was going to get in the money. I expected to get in the money. So I'm going to more or less see if this kind of thing happens right there in Apple. So I'm probably going to hold this covered call to the day of expiration. Worst case, get called away, get some cash freed up, and then look to sell some puts to get back into some shares. It'll be a great profits. Up at this resistance, I do think Apple goes higher. My 2017 target is $150 a share. We're getting up there, so I dig it. I like it, and I'm interested to see what happens on Apple. But beautiful move for those fine folks who are still in with either shares, March options, June options. Some traders have January 2018 leaps. Some traders have put sales. So it's looking good. I like it. Just chilling. Any questions on Apple? I guess that's the daily chart. If we want to look at the hourly, again, it's tough not to just be looking to buy the dip, right? It was a retest gap, and there it is right there. There's the pullback, beautiful pullback, and I think verbatim, Steven Steckler, who trades Apple very often, texted me right there and said, hey man, looks like Apple's at its buying point. I was like, yep, 10 EMA on the hourly. Beautiful little trade. I mean, look at these dojis too. Look at these dojis just sitting here chilling on that 10. I mean, that is a beautiful chart for an indecision. Nice little move, just looking to just take it bullish. I mean, great breakout right there on Apple. So anyway, things are looking good. If you have March, you have plenty of time. I mean, literally over an entire month. So, you know, give it a little bit of time. It could easily pull back some, but let it, you know, buy the dip if it pulls back. The next pullback opportunity I'll be looking for is a 10 on the daily chart. So that's Apple looking good. Jesse said the Doge. The Doge abides. Yeah, man. I mean, look at that. Look at these two little just perfect doji candles right on the 10. It's beautiful. I love candles, man. Those are my Mona Lisa. My monetary Mona Lisas. All right, here's Netflix. Took some NFLX. Netflix today. Oh, man. Popped finally up 2.5%. Al crushing this one. So this thing, I still really wanted to pull into the 50. I guess at some point it's just going to take its sweet time to do that. The last 3 days, we've been hanging out on the 10 exponential moving average, and we got a candle on Friday that is world-renowned at this point. Nice little new white soldier candle, where a white candle opens and closes above the prior day black candle's close. Almost a perfect tweezer bottom as well, and it's an inside day candle. So you have like 3 reasons to be a little bit bullish on that candle. And then the next candle, which is yesterday's candle, perfect morning star reversal pattern. Perfect morning star. So the only challenge was I wanted to set this up for the weekly options newsletter, but since I was flying this morning and I didn't really know the timing of it, I didn't want to how to send it out, and I knew I'd be traveling, I was like, well, I'm sure someone will get in that trade. So Netflix, good trade for either a day trade or a quick swing trade. If you are in on Netflix, awesome. The trend is bullish. I still want to pull back more to really load up, but I guess I'll have to keep waiting on that. Ron's in a bull put spread. Let me message Ron really quick. Ron Burgundy. Netflix bull put spread looking dope. All right. So Netflix, yeah, good volume, new all-time high today. And I think from here, Netflix will be, again, a little bit of a challenge to trade, but I think we have an idea of how to play it. So white candle gapping up, volume increased. It's a retest gap at an all-time high. Let me try to draw that line a little straighter. If you're looking at getting in, you're not in right now, I will be keeping a very close eye on that price right there. Just the retest of that little neckline, the dip. So pull back into 142.37 on Netflix. And if you are more comfortable getting into just a non-directional trade, non-directional meaning bull put spread, put sale, whatever, I'm totally fine with that. But Netflix, new all-time high at 144, rocking and rolling. Looking good. All right, Facebook. So we do have an official trade on Facebook, which I do kind of like still. We got the 136, 137 February bear call spread. So that is expiring not this Friday, but next Friday. So the options did decrease a little bit in value today. Yesterday they actually got a little bump. But I like today's candle, ironically enough, a little bit of an upper shadow, still battling this resistance. Of course, we closed by 135.82. I'd say to myself, geez, what a bullish market, and probably look to unravel or exit, more likely exit, depending on the timing. But it is tomorrow's Wednesday, so you got a week and a half on that all-time high, but also you're using candlesticks, volume, previous resistance, retest gaps. Here's what the weekly chart looks like on Facebook, and you got a really, really big indecision candle with good volume. So if anything, this week is probably an inside week, so we got 3 weeks left on that. And then Monday, we'll kind of see how it plays out. But that is a trade that we are in officially, 136, 137 bear call spread on Facebook. Other than that, I actually have no setup on Facebook. I know some traders are in and they're looking to do some covered calls. I've actually had a few traders email me about that over the last few days. At this price, I'd probably be looking to do something like a March 140 or 145. March 140, or you could do like a March week 2. For those of you who already have shares, like a 141, which is like 38 cents, which isn't bad. So it's somewhere pretty far away because it is a strong bullish trend. It could easily go higher, but it is going to need to close above last week's candle in order to do that. And I think we got the timing right on Facebook, so only time will tell. Baba, this pesky devil, good grief. So there are some traders, and this is what's beautiful about the weekly options newsletter. There's a few traders who took the analysis and just did something different with it. Either a different option, different expiration date, different price, or different strategy altogether. I did, and most other traders did get stopped out on Baba, ticker symbol BABA with the call options on Monday morning. So Monday, just a little bit of a gap down. We got 8 cents into our stop in the bounce. Obviously, you can see, and this is the pro and con, by the way, of options, as we all know. The pros are the quick returns, cheap access to capital, fun volatile moves, exciting, all that good stuff. The cons is that it doesn't trade anything like the stock trades, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is we can see the stop based on the actual stock price, which some traders did just trade the shares rather than the actual option. You're totally fine, right? You're actually making a very small amount of money, but you are up, you're not down. So that's what's interesting, again, but that's just how stocks and options differ. And that's why it's really important to understand risk reward when you trade options. Risk is always the key because as much as I love the ROI on them, Just got to be really, really careful. So, yeah. So we're looking at it. Nice 10 exponential moving average. Is Baba going to bounce? I don't know. I got a buddy who's in it. He actually asked me just earlier today what my advice was on Baba. He's got a pretty sizable position, and my advice was just hold. So we'll look to hold Baba. Here's the weekly. So that option trade did get stopped out. But for those of you who are in shares or long term, I mean, it looks fine. Just kind of retesting for a little bit. A break below this level, though, and I'm going to look to get frisky. Let's see if we can play something a little bit bearish, kind of quick. More like a day trade or a 1 to 2 day swing trade. That's what I'm looking for. So let's do something like that. Trigger intraday for quick day trade or, well, quick swing trade. I think quick and day trade is kind of not monotonous. What's the word for redundant? There we go. I did, Ken. What a great game. Oh, my goodness. That Super Bowl was a solid, solid game. I ate too much as usual. One of the parents, their kid, his name was Dylan, like a 13-year-old kid, 13-year-old boy. It was like a chef prodigy of some kind, and made these chocolate balls that were just insanely perfectly good. They were incredible dessert. I think I had 7 trays of them. At one point, I rented a car just to fill up the car with these chocolate balls just so I could drive more to the house. They're just so good. So, anyway. But yeah, great game, man. So good. What a sport. All right, so that's Baba. That's my thoughts. I don't have a trade set up on it yet, but, man, I really wanted that one to work. I thought it would. Based on this, if you did anything other than the trade that I sent, it's probably working out okay. If you did like shares or non-directional or something, looking like. All right, so here's 3D printing. 3D printing. Deepak is in this one long term. Few traders got some put sales on this one long term, and it's just hanging out right now. 1773 strong resistance. This is going to be a very fun stock that if this thing can break out at some point, all right, really, really nice triangle. We will wait on it. We'll see what happens. We'll keep tabs. We'll keep track. And if it can break out bullish at some point, let's roll some dice, mitigate risk, and figure out what happens from there. Nice little double bottom. Fully expect something like this to occur, and then a potential bounce. So that's pretty much what I got on 3D systems. Just looking at that one for George and Deepak. All right, let's go look at LMT, Lockheed Martin. This one's on the list because we do have an iron condor, which is getting close. Getting close. So here's the daily chart. So today's candle did make another higher high and a higher low. A little bit of an upper shadow, though. So if the whole market kind of free falls a little bit, I would anticipate that more than likely, Lockheed will pull back some. Beautiful morning star reversal pattern right here. And again, Friday, great day to trade some bullish Lockheed Martin with a bounce off that morning star off of the 100. So really, as Lockheed Martin comes up into this area, I'll expect some upper shadows. I'll need a close above here to concern myself with it. If I need to unravel, that's totally fine. More than likely, probably just exit it on Lockheed Martin. But here's the weekly charts. Weekly chart looking good. Again, the bulls still kind of in control on the weekly more often than not. On pretty much all moving averages on all time frames, Lockheed Martin looks more bullish to neutral. Most of you, for those who are in the spread, bull put spread looks fine. Bear call spread, we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. But it's getting close. But for right now, we'll just see if it can close above there. All right, that's Lockheed Martin done. Next on the list, TWLO. I heard of a new chart pattern today. Let me see if I can find it. Twitter. I think you guys might laugh. Who? Let me see if I can remember who posted this. I think it was Sarah. Give me 6 seconds. It's called the frying pan bottom. Sarah. I think it's Sarah. If it's not Sarah, I'm not going to be able to remember who it was. No, it's not Sarah. Oh, I forget who it is now. Give me 1 second. Now I'm like on a mission. It's like the trading wife. Trading wife. Anyway, so she posted a chart on TWLO mentioning something called a frying pan bottom with a picture of a frying pan. I was like, I've never heard of that one before. So anyway, apparently TWLO has a frying pan bottom. Kind of looks like a little double bottom-ish in a way. It could look kind of like a cup and handle. It's one of those things that depends on how you draw it, right? So TWLO long-term, I like it down this price point. Here is what the weekly chart looks like. So the reason I'm pulling up the weekly chart, just so you have an idea what's going on, what it looks like. Long-term buy low, sell high. So this one had a big bullish move. A lot of stuff happened. Big volatility came in. We traded all the way back down to these lows. And definitely for sure, I know a few traders in here getting in longer term bullish. So that's why I kind of have this protective put line. Something meaning if you are getting in here, it's probably going to be better to use protective puts rather than stops because it's going to get a little whipsawy. I usually prefer protective puts if I'm buying in an accumulation area. So that's a little bit of a nugget, a little bit of a takeaway from the day. If you're getting into a buy low, sell high, and you think to yourself, okay, I know I'm getting in at a good price. I don't know how long the stock is going to need to bounce from down here. So you kind of determine if you say, you know what, I want to get in longer term. Let's say in this situation, longer term is just more than 3 to 4 months. Like I want to be in at least half a year. Then I really prefer to use protective stops in that situation because if you know that you're buying, or at least you have a really good indication that you're buying at a bottom, like TWLO, and I think AMBA is on the list as well. It's not. Let me put that on there next. So like kind of like AMBA I was talking about just the other day. Yeah, you want to kind of use protective puts simply because that way you avoid getting whipsawed if you know you're buying at a good price and you want to hold it for a little bit. Now, of course, you can always use a stop, get out for a loss, and get back in. But all a protective put does is it just mitigates what could have happened, right? So in this situation, getting triggered in on this day, you would have waited for a pullback, right, or retest, because you had 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish candles in a row. So the move had already happened. So at that point, you're like, yeah, if it retests, then I'll buy some puts. So this will be buy the protective puts. You spend money doing that, right? And then stock goes higher, and your protective puts, meow, they go lower. So as of next week, those protective puts become irrelevant. They evaporate. You spent your money on them, c'est la vie, and you either buy more if it breaks lower, or you just hold on to the stock and hope for something like this. And obviously, you want the gain of the equity in the actual shares to be more than the protective puts. So again, just kind of wrap that up. Protective puts, a little bit of a longer term, 6-month minimum type of strategy for me. If I'm in a swing trade for like 3 weeks or something, I'm not going to use protective puts. I'm just going to stops. If it's a stock that I own long term, if I say to myself, yeah, I'm going to be in this for years, then protective puts for sure, all the way. All the way, because you don't want to get whipsawed out of a trade that you want to be in long term as an investment just to see it run in your favor. So speaking of, here's AMBA. And AMBA, perfect example of this. So here's AMBA, a lot of traders in this one as well, a little bit longer term. We've been talking about this. So back on the 24th of January, pretty much all the strategies we talked about. What do you want to do down here? Shares, long-term calls, put sales, leaps, whatever it is you want to do. So the protective put trigger, meaning this is where you want to get into some protective puts, 48.26, which so far hasn't broken below that level, which is great. So at this particular point in time, it looks like, at least in my opinion, that AMBA, beautiful little double bottom here with volume coming in. So expecting this and then this. And once we get this little pivot, then I'll take a trigger for the protective put and move it up to that particular price. And then if AMBA, let's say hypothetically, does make this move and trades up into like the, $58 price into earnings, then you'll get into, or you could get into a 2 to 3 month protective put. right? March, April expiration, and then you sell a long-term covered call to pay for that, like June, July. And then if the stock goes up to here and you call it away, you made a profit, good for you. That's kind of the point of trading. And if you don't, stock gaps down hard, or at least you were protected, you got the put, and if nothing happens, it just trades sideways, then hopefully this covered call can be bought back for less than it was sold for. You hold on to the shares, the stock continues to go higher. So AMBA down here, we've been talking about this one for the last few days, weeks, looks solid. Here's your weekly perspective on it, and right off the 200 simple on a weekly, right at that support zone. My target on this one, I'm going to see how well we can trade this one together, but about 63.06 or so on AMBA. If it gets into that price without needing to use protected puts or anything, that could be a really, really fun trade on Umbrella. I love getting into collars because really then you can just walk away. You're like, okay, worst case scenario, make 5% on my investment or something like that, which I told someone that the other day and they almost started crying. I was like, there's no way there's such a thing that you can do that on. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just all about timing, right? You just got to buy low, sell high. But if you can actually make money in the stock as it's going up, if you buy at the right time, then yeah, you can get into a strategy where you literally can't lose for a certain time period. It's pretty awesome. CTSH. All right. So this is interesting. CTSH has been kind of keeping this on our watch list radar to break below this candle. Doesn't appear to. Earnings right around the corner, so I'm just going to kind of leave this one alone for right now. Let's put this one on the list for what day would be adequate? Potentially, let's do Thursday. CTSH. All right, nothing today. No trade set up on it right now. All right, ticker symbol M for Macy's. Macy's, what's Macy's doing? So Macy's, a potential buyout from, I believe it was Hudson Bay, came out on this day, which was the 3rd of February. One of those, you're totally right, but just the wrong time. I'm sure we've all done that before. You did it right, just too quickly. So on Macy's, I got into a bearish day trade and here somewhere and had to stop like here somewhere. And we got stopped out on Macy's for 1 hour loss, right? No big deal. But I really did feel that Macy's would have that retracement. Another thing that you can almost always watch for, plan for, and trade for is if you get these ginormous candles, and really on any time frame, daily, 15-minute, 5-minute, doesn't matter. If it's just one singular huge candle in any direction. One of my early mentors, Anne Marie, she called that a hot candle or an emotional candle. And what that means is usually it's a news-based candle. Some kind of news story comes out, no one knows how to react, and then just boom, the stock has this giant move very quickly. People start saying, okay, that's kind of weird. They digest the new information, and oftentimes you see that candle retrace into some percentage. Now, the beautiful question is how much of a percentage? Me and Anne-Marie tend to disagree on this one a little bit. Very, very little bit, by the way. She says more like the 0.382 to the 0.5 retracement of the candle is usually where it retraces to before it bounces. My theories have found out it's usually the 0.5 to the 0.618 level that it'll retrace to before it bounces. But in her theory, she's very, very big on the 0.5 fib level. And she says if the stock comes into the 0.5 and doesn't hold, then it likely will trade to the next fib level. But anyway, saying that to say, usually when you get these candles, I wanted Macy's to pull back, really thought it would, and it is. But I'm not in, so it doesn't matter. I thought it was going to go down, but it is going down a little bit. Now, on that note, on a weekly chart, right, this support level is a very strong support. So we've been looking and talking about this one, and it is definitely happening. So here's the weekly charts, and we typed in not too long ago, excellent long-term support down here, and it is. So very good support down here at 3014. Doesn't shock me that some good news stories are coming out down here to potentially merge or buy out Macy's. That would be a huge, huge deal. So what's happening for Macy's from here? Well, we did trade to Target on the day that the news came out, which is a strong moving average. My guess, we keep trading lower, trap all the bulls, which would have been me, by the way, because I really, really wanted to buy them that day right there. And would have traded my Target, actually, in one day with boom, boom kind of play. So I expect it to trade down, trap some bulls, and then on earnings, who knows? Who knows? But earnings are right around the corner. So probably a gap down and then a trade higher. Actually, I'm just going to write that in because I'm like 90% confident in that. What's today's date? What is today's date? It's the 7th already? Oh my gosh. Okay. If Macy's breaks below the low of $29.90 before earnings, and then earnings gaps down, 10% chance it free falls, 9% chance it fades. Some of you might be wondering why in the world will I think it would fade in that situation? Mostly because everybody would be trapped, and the market loves trapping people. Just the sentiment. So, if we gap down here, after all the bulls get stopped out on this move and then they gap down, and anyone who's still remaining is like, shoot, this thing's gonna go lower, right? And so then all the bulls who try get out, and then they're like, and then trades higher, So anyway, that's kind of more of a day trade perspective / we could use that for a swing trade, but that's kind of my thoughts on Macy's, and that's what we got so far. Okay, we're making good progress. I'm gonna put Disney on the list. I know it's gapping after hours. See if we can get to it. TEAM. Matthew wanted me to look at this one, I believe. And this is a nice pennant. Earnings is over. Here was kind of my analysis on it a few days back, saying, hey, if it breaks above 28.24, which it did, so someone would have gotten triggered in on the 3rd. That's still kind of my analysis, realistically. If you're not in, Matthew, and you want to just use today's candle as a potential place to get in a few pennies lower than we did, you definitely could consider that. Here's a weekly chart. Weekly, bullish candle looks really, really nice. A stop, definitely at 26.89 is going to be a strong stop. What's interesting about this newer IPO, beautiful double bottom right here. Flawless. Good move. Trade back to that level, retesting the neckline. So to be bullish on here on TEAM makes sense to me. So that's what I got on it. Next on the list is Tesla. Good old Tesla. So Tesla tricking me. I would probably know this if I had shares of Tesla, but I'm just not that much of a baller yet. I thought Tesla's earnings were like this week. Tesla earnings February 22nd. Okay, so here's the daily chart, at least according to Earnings Whisperer. I think I'm still okay on the wager. I mentioned if Tesla breaks the low of this week's candle before earnings, so that looks like it's going to turn into like an over month-and-a-half wager. Should be okay. Definitely a strong pop on Tesla, and I really do think it's going to do just like we talked about. If you want to know how Tesla's going to move in this environment, just kind of look at the last time that it did moves like this. And I think yesterday's candle, which was Monday, was that candle relative and like a blend of these two candles, something right around these two candles. So simply saying that I think we get a little bit of a pullback the next 2 to 3 days, but then we probably continue higher on Tesla. So for those looking at playing TSLA, I believe bullish is the edge. Today's candle, very, very strong candle, and 280.81. It makes sense to me. The high of today, 260 exactly. 260 to the penny. So that's very interesting that that's the thing. That's the case. All right, so that's Tesla. BSX, Boston Scientific, was looking at this one for a swing trade based on that gap. Very nice gap. I don't think it's going to trigger yet. Pretty much what I'm looking for is a pullback and a dip buying opportunity. Let's put that on the list for Thursday and come back to it. Pretty much you have a beautiful bullish gap and go on the 2nd of February. We're breaking out of strong resistance. I do not believe we were at an all-time high. In fact, I'm pretty confident. Yep, we're not. So really all I'm doing in this situation is you got a big, strong breakout of a resistance, simply looking for that resistance to retest, looking for a pullback down to this 24.51, 24.72 price range. It's on the list. Let's keep being patient. We'll just wait. Microsoft, MSFT. So Microsoft pulling back some. This trigger was a day trade trigger. So now this is what I'm going to be watching like very closely on Microsoft. So my only question is, do I do this with shares, puts? What do I do this with? Morningstar reversal, back-to-back hammers, bearish candle, but the bearish candle makes a higher high and a higher low. Weekly chart, okay. Hourly chart looks pretty good. Trying to get above all those wicks. Let's look at Microsoft tomorrow. Let's put on the list again tomorrow. I think this is setting up for a bullish trade, and I want in. Let's see if there's any premium in a put sale or bull put spread or something. Because it is bullish. I mean, the trend is bullish. You got a Morningstar. February, let's go February week 4. Pretty much, Lindemann. It's pretty much what's going on today. 61.60. You can get 19 cents and 10 cents if you're lucky. I have seen worse spreads in my life. You'd want to be able to get really good premium for it. Let me start planning it just so that Lindemann doesn't fire me. 27.17, potential 61.60, bull put spread, February week 4. Right now it has pretty much 10 cents, 9 cents on it. If I get a little bit more out of that, like 13 cents, 14 cents, it might be worth it. The 100's at $60.60, so I kind of dig that on Microsoft. Okay, we're moving right along. PANW, just looking at it to celebrate with Melanie. That's pretty much it. So I didn't know of any other trader other than Melanie in Palo Alto Networks. Congratulations, Miss Melanie. Great trade. So she got in, hit her target, boom, boom, pow. In fact, if I just rewind these, the exact entry, so we talked about this setup on this day, this white candle right there. And it triggered twice if you did a limit buy or even a stop limit. Either one would have triggered the very next 2 days, and it just kind of popped right up into the target. So earnings in March looks good. I believe she's exited. I don't know if she exited all of her position, but I believe so. Here's kind of your weekly position on it. And again, this 153.20, very good resistance. That's the 100 on a weekly. And PANW could get real fun if it starts doing something like this. Something like this would be grand. We might even make a grand. That'd be fun. That's what I got. Okay, PANW. Next, Disney. I already had Disney on the list. Look at me. All right, check this out. DIS, Disney on the daily charts. Here's the gap down, and we're gapping down. Nothing. We gap down, and we're already kind of rallying. So weird that pre-market support traded right down to this 105.58 support level. That's so strange. Who would have thought that would have happened? You probably wouldn't have gotten filled either if you tried. Maybe with a limit order potentially. But Disney, let's just see how it opens tomorrow. It is gapping down a little bit. It does seem a little bit bearish. A tad bearish if Disney opens below the low of today. even more so with an open below what price of this white bullish candle, 108.15. And honestly, for those who are in long-term on Disney, I love this move, and I love it. And the reason I'm saying that is because here's your weekly chart, and you'll notice we broke out of what I would call a very strong resistance level. And we know one thing about resistance levels, and that's that they like fried chicken and retests. Fried chicken covered in retests. So here's the breakout. This is likely to be the retest, and this will be the buying opportunity. So that would mean that likely Disney has a little bit of a bearish move preceding earnings in the next few days to come. I'll be keeping an eye out for it at least, see if it happens. Okay, Boeing, ticker symbol BA. Here's the daily chart, and this is a tough one for me, folks, really, because I'm just trying to find a really good value to get in on. I did miss the trade on Monday. Monday is the day that I wanted to enter. So the high of this candle and the high of this candle, Monday's candle is about 2 pennies higher than the high. So it's a retest gap, white candle gapping up. Here's the retest, and there's the buying opportunity. This is one that I did want to do on the weekly options newsletter as well, was BABA, or I'm sorry, not BABA, Boeing. So I either want to do BA, or just BA. I didn't know which BA to do. So it turned out BA was bad and BA would have been good. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, nice little move. Good inside day candle on Thursday. Nice bullish candle on Monday, Friday. You guys know what I'm saying. A little bit of a move here. So Stan has a put sale. Long term, I love Boeing. Weekly looks strong. Whatever dip you get the opportunity to buy, feel free to. If you're still waiting on Boeing, that's totally fine. Let's see if we can get a good price. Let's see if we can get a pullback. And I know it's pricey, so if you're sitting there thinking, how in the world can we buy the dip on this thing? It's just pricey. I get it. It might have to be a wait. Any questions so far, ladies and gentlemen? All right. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Next on the list, Macy's. Already done Macy's. So let's go look at Coke. Ticker symbol KO. Ron said, you're doing fine. Thanks, brother. Much obliged, my man. Let's see. Coke. Coke is doing what Coke does. Weekly chart, bouncing off the 50. We have bounced off the 50 once before, and we could be doing it again. Coke, in my personal opinion, obviously very long-term blue chip, buy and hold, buy the dips, collect dividends, long-term. Yeah, it's just hanging out at these price levels. Great all-time high. A lot of people bought here. We pulled back to the 50. We've bounced off the 50 on a weekly once, twice before. This could easily be 3 times the lady. There you go. Let's go. Lindemann says, I took your BABA weekly options, but yesterday with $100 strike calls for 2-hour game posted on Slack yesterday. My brother. Well done. Great job, man. You're exactly right. The funny thing is, I got 2 or 3 other emails from some other traders with similar things. So it was like, that's why I like the weekly options newsletter. It's like, hey, you guys, here's my plan. And from there, kind of figure out what it is that you want to do based on that. And going into that, so you say, okay, Newsom's bullish. I'm going to wait for this or this or this. That's what it's there for, man. I love it. High five. It's kind of like if I were to create a stencil drawing of some kind of an elephant and said, hey, here's my drawing of an elephant, and you get to color in the elephant any way you want. Some people will choose gray, obviously, but maybe every now and then you get a few people who want a chartreuse and fuchsia elephant. Totally depends. As long as you stay within the lines, all drawings are accepted here at Real Life Trading. So, anyway, that's pretty much Coke, one of the most boring stocks on the planet. All right, next, ticker symbol CA. What is CA? I have no idea. Server and Database Technology Company, CA. Looks like a great bracket trade for tomorrow. I'm going to write this one down. Type in a 1 if you can kind of see what I'm seeing and the reason why I would like to maybe day trade this tomorrow. CA in the morning. You have a very nice white candle gapping up, retest gap. After a white candle gapping down, strong resistance. Here's a resistance. Morningstar reversal, volume increased, and today's a new black crow. And last reason, evening star reversal. So if we break below the low, all of this candle, right? Like I said this just a few moments ago, big candles often will get a retracement when they're just a huge, huge candle. So I'll look to play it bearish down into here and then potentially a bounce. So for any of my day traders, feel free to put down no lose. If you don't day trade, no big deal. Plenty of opportunities out there. Let me know how I can help in any way possible. All right, next on the list, TRGP. What is TRGP doing? John Wheeler, got it. I'll see if I can look at it today, and if not, I'll post it in Slack later. TRGP, Resource Corporation, oil and gas and utilities down large. This is the daily, weekly, yeah. Much like energy, I want to pull back, and I'm glad it is. Let's put this one on the list for Wednesday. Bottom line, if you're looking at trading the stock, buy the dip off the 50 EMA. Looks like the plan to me. Micron Technology, ticker symbol MU. MU's been tough. February put sale. Looks like it's going to be just fine. Don't see any problem with that one. That'll probably be like I think that's the third or fourth one in a row. You have a tweezer bottom on Micron Technology on the hourly chart. Play it accordingly. I know it almost feels like it's already up a little bit after hours. You got a nice double bottom right here on the hourly chart. So there's your resistance. So if it breaks above, just look to buy the dip again and then play Micron bullish, right? Trend is bullish. And of course, tomorrow, if by some weird miracle, you get a breakdown and you come back from 28 to 3 and you break this support on Micron Technology, I could see a little bit of a bearish move coming in, but probably into like the 20 EMA or something, nothing too wild. But today's candle does look good. If Micron pops again tomorrow or Thursday, feel free to trust it. Looks toasty. All right, next on the list is FCX, which is our weekly options newsletter winner. I'll go through in about 2 minutes why I like FCX, and let those 2 minutes begin. Number one, we're at a strong resistance, 1632. Number two, we had a big gap right here, and that gap has already filled, and now it's going even lower than that. Number three, you got a gorgeous one black crow with volume. Number four, you got a tweezer bottom the last 2 days. Number five, you got good risk reward into the next target. And number six, I wanted FCX, as I mentioned back here. Anyway, I wanted it to pull back on just a wave count basis all the way down to the red line so that I can buy it. So really at that point, we'll just have to see. But so what I'm looking for on FCX is just a retest tomorrow because you got 3 bearish candles in a row. So just looking for a pullback and then a rollover. If I don't win this weekly options newsletter, if we get stopped out or we lose, my wager, I'm going to be posting a video of my stop dance. And I can assure you, it's a video that you're going to want to watch. It's going to be great. So FCX, let's see if it can do anything. Jesse says he's in bullish on Micron Technology with a target of 25.60. Jesse J in bullish with a target of 25.60. Got it, brother. Protein shake, I got you. All right, Micron Technology, FCX. Here's CVS. Ticker symbol CVS, CVS Health. Earnings right around the corner. And I do mean right around the corner, aisle 9. Earnings, if it gaps down, I mean, it'll be comical how bearish it'll be if it gaps down into this price, which is below the 2 candles back here for the 23rd. Okay, I thought I'd change the opacity of that. There you go. From here, bullish yet? Bullish gap would probably be above this particular price range, more than likely, which is an open really above the candle on December 20th and December 14th. And it'll be trapping some of these bears. Black candle gapping down, retest gap. This is literally the retest right now. So into earnings, you can expect a bearish rollover, but after earnings, I have no idea. No clue. But if it gaps down that box, that red box, I would not be bullish by any means, at least on the day trade. Swing trade, I'll have to give it a day or two and find out. But I could see CVS easily gapping up bullish here and just rocking out. It's been getting beat up real bad. Here's your weekly chart. So it's pulling back solidly. So it's pulled back a little over 30% from its highs here in August 2015. So, we're pulling back some. Good to know. All right, MRK, which is American company. Merck. Sounds like American and milk in the same one. Merck. Adrian's got a 62.50 covered call. MRK earnings are now over, and this thing is at an incredibly strong resistance. So what I'm going to do is draw this, zoom out on the weekly chart again, and just really, really zoom out. I think this is the all-time high, if I'm not mistaken on that. It might be, nope, 2,000 highs. I was about to say, I think it's gone a little bit higher. Yeah. So probably look to buy the dip on this one. Breakouts, again, it's about to trade into a big resistance. You have a huge price around 60.79. Wave structure looks pretty easy to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inside this wave 5, there's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got a little bit farther to go. But we're kind of starting to run out of steam a little bit. So again, here's the daily chart. I wouldn't look to take a breakout on this one, meaning it's out of resistance now. So if it just breaks out above this price, remember, resistances love fried chicken and retests. So let it pull back and buy the dip. So that's kind of my thought. If you're looking at playing MRK, it looks good bullish. I agree with you fully. I do think this is an invert head and shoulders pattern. And I'd say look to play something like this, some form or fashion of a pullback on MRK into about 62-ish, and then kind of buy the dip. GILD, gapping on earnings. This is another one that I was going to set up with the weekly options newsletter, but I knew it had earnings because it looked good. A lot of people trapped on this one. I mean, an open below 69.78. I have no idea how this thing doesn't go to 65. Let me see if there's any long-term moving average that we need to look at. Otherwise, this thing's done. GILD, nope. Probably one of the strongest bearish gap and goes I've seen in a long time. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do anything with it right now. We don't really want to trade after hours. But let's look to play weekly options on GILD. Bear City. This is like the fourth quarter in the Super Bowl for the Falcons. It's not going to look pretty. Doesn't mean just go out and put all your money into puts. Okay, I'm not saying that, but I am saying look to play puts. Prepare yourself. Let's kind of trade that one tomorrow. That's going to be a day trade. If you're a swing trader, pretty much at open, you can look to get into something as long as we open below this support level, and which is again below this 124 candle. I'd probably buy a little bit out the money, probably for March. The gap down, I'd look to see this one really start running. So that's GILD, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing afternoon already. That hour went by very quickly. Tomorrow is Energy Wednesday, and we're going to rock the house together. I got Seadrill, CSX, PBWI, NRG, BIVV, Microsoft, ExxonMobil, CHK, FCX, MU, British Petroleum, Royal Dutch Shell, the A shares, LNG, First Solar, GILD again. Anything else you guys want to look at tomorrow? Let's look at Procter & Gamble, CF, which we got stopped out of, POT, Expedia, Walgreens, Halliburton, RIG, REGN, UNH, Twitter. Perfect. Folks, that's where we're going to be rocking out tomorrow. I'm pumped. Hope you guys are pumped. Thanks so much for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. You guys absolutely rock. And until next time, love life, live life, and trade it. Have a great day.